All right, next alumni spotlight. Zach Runzo. Great to get Zach in today. Appreciate you taking some time, Zach.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
you
me.
got a really interesting story. I think a story of just a wide variety of experiences at ONU, and we're trying to reach out to as many guys as possible. There's so many great guys who came through the program. But you came from North Allegheny High School, so you're a Yinzer, one of our
Yes, sir.
Yinzers, one of our first Yinzers with Josh. There's been some other guys since then coming in after you, Haslu and some other guys, but a Yinzer who mechanical engineer. So you decided to kind of look around a little bit further away from home, and if I remember correctly, you were looking at some really good schools, Johns Hopkins and some other places that were dragging their feet a little bit, and you reached out to us, and then kind of got the ball rolling. It was late. We'll talk about the recruiting process here in a minute, but why don't you kind of tell everybody kind of what you're up to these days?
Yeah, so after ONU, ended up going to grad school, and then after that, got a full-time position with Rawlings Sporting Goods. So I am the product engineer for their baseball helmets and their protective gear. So my job is pretty much to work with our design team, get a helmet the way we want it to look, and then work with our factories and work with the sourcing group to get that drawing and make it a physical concept and
Very
make sure
cool.
it passes all testing. So that's pretty much
Very
my
cool.
role.
Well, I think one thing to maybe just briefly get on, because you just have so many neat things about what you mentioned grad school. Why don't you tell everybody who doesn't know kind of a little bit about your grad school experience, because it was pretty unique way for you to keep playing football.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess towards the end of my ONU career, everyone's getting jobs, and I was looking just in the more traditional engineering industry. And when it finally came down to it, it was just like, this isn't going to make me happy. I knew I wanted to work in the sporting industry. I just didn't really know how. So I ended up just Google searching sports engineering, and this university kept popping up. So reached out to a professor, the University of Sheffield Hallam, which is in England, but reached out to a professor, and they said, yeah, American mechanical engineering students fit in great here. Apply. So I applied, ended up going to school in England for a year, got my master's degree in sports engineering. And then, yeah, I guess along that way, got a chance to play an extra year of football.
Which was awesome. I remember, just kind of trying to follow and getting some updates from you. And it was so cool to see you're playing this. It was Cheshire, right? Cheshire, is that?
Sheffield.
Sheffield. And
Yep.
they're the highest level of football in England. And you were a star, man. You started off playing DB like you did. Bears. Next thing you know, they're throwing you on offense. And you guys won the Division I national championship over there in England. And I remember seeing a bunch of the pictures and everything. It was really cool to follow that whole story and see you get to keep playing while you're getting that sports engineering degree. So,
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was something else. It was just an awesome experience all around.
well, as I think back to it, I remember with the sports engineering going into your senior year, you did that internship out in St. Louis with Rawlings, and that was a great experience for you. It probably that triggered a little bit of thought that, hey, mechanical engineering is awesome, but if I can combine this passion with sports with engineering, that might really be something that would really get you excited.
100%. And the sports industry is such a small industry in the grand scheme of things. So getting your foot in the door is really challenging. So when I did get that opportunity after my junior year of school and got that summer, I just really wanted to keep the ball rolling. I'm like, I don't want to let my foot off the gas. This is something I want to do. So really just
Cool.
went full flow in it.
Good stuff, man. I'm so proud of you and so excited to see you're combining those passions and you're going to keep climbing the ladder, no doubt in my mind. Let's talk
Appreciate it.
recruiting back, when you came out of North Allegheny High School, Wexford, Pennsylvania, if I remember correctly. But why don't you talk a little bit about kind of that process?
Yeah. So I was definitely a little bit more passive than I should have been. I didn't really know how the whole situation worked, and I wasn't proactive in the whole situation. So I ended up getting really late into reaching out to coaches and really getting my film out there. So it ended up being March or April. I reached out to Schroitzau, just found his email online, and I'm like, you guys have a great football program and you have a great engineering program. I think I'd be a really good fit. Schroitzau said, yeah, definitely. come out. Coach Rohan gave me like the visit across all of campus. And just as I was looking at campus, I'm like, this is exactly how I envision college. Like,
Yeah.
prettiest campus I've really ever been to. Amazing football facilities, and then like the engineering programs, like top 25. So just like, this has everything I need.
Best of both worlds, right? Kind of the total.
Exactly.
We sure are glad that worked out. You came in your freshman year. You're a hard worker. You're patient. You know, some guys aren't real patient, but you're patient, and you worked hard behind the scenes, doing the little things and getting a little more playing time, and it worked in to be a starter. And one of my favorite things I think of as you on the field was, first of all, it's probably just that you're a worker. You know, you're the kind of guy that would just roll his sleeves up, keep his mouth shut, and just go about his business. But then you ended up becoming a damn good defensive back, and had a great. I remember that interception, the first series of game against Heidelberg, the one year, and just really turned yourself into a heck of a football player. So
I appreciate that. That means a lot. And
yeah,
great coach, and really brought me along.
It was fun coaching guys like you and Josh, and that group was a fun group to coach. But why don't you just talk a little bit about some memories in the field? Because I think you have some good ones, whether it was things on the field or the trip, the trip to Ireland and some different things like that. But what are some things that stand out?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot of really good memories. Coming out freshman year, I mean, we were an amazing team with like Simmons, Brent Donley, Wensler, Jesse, all those guys, just like such great leaders, great football players. I guess coming in, you didn't really realize like how much work it actually takes and how rare it was to have that group. But that was just an amazing team, like good playoff run. And that was special. And we definitely hit some bumps in the road after that. I was looking at the junior year stuff. I guess going into junior year, we went to Ireland. And that was just an amazing trip. Had some great bonding experiences with a bunch of guys. I really got to know people to like a whole nother level. And then the junior season, I kind of got my first couple opportunities to play. And looking back at it, there was a bunch of nail-biting games we had. Like we didn't really end that season well, but I think we had like 4 games that were one-score games at the very end. So, I mean, I guess reflecting on that, just like we would have made the most of those opportunities. Like that's a completely different year.
Yeah, it's crazy how that goes. And when I think about that, I think about, even though that was a season where, our win-loss record is definitely below what our expectations are, I felt like as you reflect back, people stayed positive and people kept working. And I feel like then it started, the success that we had in 14 and 15 was laid really in 13 by getting beyond some struggles during 2012, staying positive, staying, kind of on board with things, and then seeing progress, your senior year, right? Your senior year was 13.
Yep.
Seeing the progress kind of carry over there, which I think led to, I always try to make sure guys know that we appreciate that. Even like that year, we got back on track, maybe not quite exactly where we wanted to be, but we started to, build that foundation. I think that then was seen at another level in 14 and 15 with playoff run again in 15. We
completely agree.
Leadership and attitude that kind of helped. Maybe there was a little bit of a dip, but not a big, huge drop that allowed us to kind of, not have as much to climb to get back to where we expect to be. So we appreciate it.
No, I completely agree. And then seeing that success the next couple of years, just all those guys that like I played with, and just seeing them really break out and become football players that like you saw the potential through practices, and then they just really come into like stars. So it's really
always fun to watch that.
Yeah.
I know you continue to watch the Polar Bears, and we appreciate that. How about anything off the field? Maybe a favorite class or a professor, or just some memories that kind of stand out off the field?
Yeah, I mean, through the engineering program, we were a pretty tight-knit group too. Really great professors. Dr. Ward was a really good mentor, like just really cared about everybody. Dr. Mike Sell, who's still there. Dr. Yoder is actually the dean now of the engineering department.
Sure is.
I haven't been back.
You got to get back and see this building.
To see the new building. But that's amazing. Definitely on my agenda. But yeah, just really great leaders and role models in the engineering field kind of head that department, and really, I guess, set the foundation to be successful in that like engineering mindset.
Yeah. Well, I think you fit well with them too. That you're a very bright young man, but you're a guy who has balance in his life. So, like a lot of our professors, they recognize that, and our faculty members, our dean, assistant dean, they're really really bright people, but they also recognize that balance and passions in other areas are important. And I think that's why we get so many people to ONU. They're so well rounded, like yourself.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. Just the support they have for all athletes. You hear about kids going to like bigger schools, and there's like, the football team chose my major.
Right.
It's just like sad to hear because
Right.
the kid's not going to be playing football in
Right.
5 years, more than likely. So
Complete opposite of ONU, right?
yeah, you get set up for success. The professors support you, and you're able to kind of guide yourself down the path you want to go.
It's good stuff. Good stuff, man. Well, we could probably go on and on forever, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes just to, talk a little bit about your story. It's a great story of playing football at ONU, playing football in England, playing in Ireland, education, and then, getting a master's and now having success in the sports engineering world. So appreciate you and love you and your family. And, got to know your mom a little more on the trip to Ireland. So that was cool.
Yep.
Have her come along with us. That was your sister.
Yep. My
Your
sister came along too. Yep.
Sister was on that trip too. So been a few years since then, but give them our best as well. Okay, bud?
For sure. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
All right, Zach.